Good night, folks from Tobago. We love the culture. My name is Dottin. I'm a former player in Frontier Steel. My starting family was hospitalized family. That was in 1967. From there on, band had made strides. We had another sponsor, start from Clare, but 19 from Clare. To mention some sponsorships that the band had acquired over the years. Am I coming through? And it is good to see. I am on Dottin Street here to commemorate the life of my deceased captain, Mr. Milton, the associates from the band. It is an honor and a privilege to be part, having been part. I am now retired from the band, and it is with a great distinction I can easily see Mr. Milton was a champion guy, he was a very iconic guy in the annals of the band in San Fernando and even for the rest of the country, and across steel band world, sorry. And it's an honor and privilege. My role in the band, I was a former section leader in the band during my tenure with the Tobias family. It is an honor and privilege to serve under Mr. Milton. Can I call his brother? We didn't understand his brother. They were very instrumental and very musical. Most of the arrangements, Funky had a true musical history. Having one Polaris Panorama, and as such, with this age, I'd like to see. Thank you, Mr. Milton, for your stewardship from class to the issue. May your spirit be going with the soar with the angels and forever. Thank you, sir.
My name is Hatim Lala. I am here as a foundation member of the band, also a director of the band. Why I go from day one to now that he has departed, may his soul see goodness in him. Now, I want to make one thing clear. I cannot and I will not make no official statement as representing the band or anything like that, because the band have its people to do those things. So I can say that I am here to help celebrate the life of Milton, who we are good friends, we grew up together, and we have been in the band from day one together. So I want everybody to know that we lost a good one, and may his soul rest in peace. Thanks a lot.
Next. Introduce yourself.
Good night. I am Bruce Johnson from Booker Street, 327 Fernando. The reason why I am here tonight is because I am a founder of the band. country. I said, I am in the band, and wire. Took a wire hard back. Come hard back. You cut the iron, let's go. You know? Bring in rebound beat with the rugby. When you beat the cut long so and you finish, taking the cover rebound beat. The rugby wrist and thing, the second rounds. You know? I had a very great time with country. I had the best of country. Big mass in the band. Yes. I beat iron in the band for years. A Ponga di band. In the section. The self wire. Boston. You know, a lot of us dance Sedman, we had a great time in country. I enjoy myself in country and the best of country. You know? So I'm going to have to say at this moment.
You remember Rudin? Tell me about Rudin Austin.
When Rudin Austin was good arranger. What I could say, you have good arranger for the band. It's a range for the band. And when you are arranging for the band, sometimes when you are arranging for the band and you playing the tune, this guy, Professor, you should play putting in part in the tune. So you say, wait. He said, who bring it up? And who put in a chord? They say, you see. And he stopped, you know. And so far, that is what take place.
Talk after.
You know. What I want to say.
It's alright, he too.
They must have
He said that, but look how long you talk.
Yeah, I don't know, right?
Don't say something what you remember about
You all?
about Wayana.
Let him rest in peace. Richard Austin.
Just say your name,
Captain of country.
the band, what band you play, you know the word?
Born by. So, let everybody rest in peace. And thank you all.
Yeah. Alright, come in you. Go ahead. Name?
Hartnell Love Still. Wire. Voice Pass. My son goes, you know. He's supposed to bring the band here and his brother. And I love still stay with Pooh, get to myself for more. And the arranger too, and Shepherd too. Hartnell Love, right? My respect within the band and thing, for the years I've been with the band, Funky, and son. My understanding then, that love within joy then. When I came to practice here, the first time in my life, you understand, me call Rory, William Tyres, you understand, bring me in this band, right? My love to Wire. God bless his soul, and I respect is I love. I understand, because he make the foundation of the band for no street. I understand, make it functional about Gear Rodin, right? My job tonight, God rest his soul, God bless what, sing to Professor too, and I love Darren Shepherd, because you know, he will make the roots now. You understand? That grassroots is I love. And I respect, I want that. You understand? Because you happen to see the foundation here right now, how the band is, the effort, as in South now. So we're gonna beat North, but North and one not made me, you know. You understand? And my respect is that joy. I'm playing band for the years I'm playing. Love all you. Love you Wire, love you Professor Femo, love you Darren Shepherd, and yeah, Rudin, love you brother. Heart and love, right? Hollis, love you too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, respect, right?
Send somebody else. Look back.
And Junior Bisnat, right from in Thomas Street, Bonglin, love him too. Yes, and he begin to enjoy the culture too now.
Yeah.
And that heart and love, and Hollis represent that. Son as the cameraman, and I respect all it. Heart and love. Good?
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Send some.
Well, my problem is because they bash me last week when I played in Gulfview and you never come and take me, you take out Junior Regello, son. You never come and see me play.
Hey, they had thing with Manning and the
The same day when I was playing.
in Monipo.
Yeah.
Come, you're live. All that done record already.
You're live.
Come, introduce yourself.
Don't try that on me, no.
People watching you live, we're going live. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, my name is Derek Ayum, better known as Chinese. I's one of the Chinese. They have a next Chinese, you know, but I's the original Chinese. Yeah. Join this band.
There's a Daddy Chinese too, eh?
Yes.
Who does perform?
Yeah. Joined this band in 1989. You understand? Coming when we play Fire Down Below. Boy, with a start, boy. I know with a start. But you know, time inside this band was such a great time. Meeting people like, had mentors like Ryan and Rudian and, you know what I mean, Farrell and all Hatton, John Stedman, you know, really good senior people to, you know what I mean, give you good advice. But my time in Frontclair as a tenor player, you know, was a good one. Played on the state side for most of the time, and in 1991 got a break and never turned back. Got a break to go on cruise ships, and from since then till 2019 I've been playing professionally on cruise ships. Yeah, so you know what I mean, Frontclair has kind of paved the way for a lot of us. 36 members of the state side at that time, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Ryan, Professor, and Frontclair had to be proud of each and every one of us, because all of them, including myself, were arrangers, entertainers, players, soloists, band makers, band tuners, and we all do apply some sort of trade with the career of playing pan. So, you know, this was really something that we cherish Frontclair for doing for us as, you know what I mean, members of the band. Right? So what I say again, boy, you know, Waya was a great one, great influence, you know. The old Breezy boy, you know, you would pursue when he ready, you know what I mean? But he didn't mean, he meant well, Give me good advice even when I was out there traveling, you know what I mean? He would call me on the phone, I would call him on the phone, and you know, we would share, you know what I mean, ideas, jokes, everything, even up to last week when he was in the hospital, we spoke, you know what I mean, and you know, wasn't expecting this. I kind of sort of anticipated, you know what I mean, him and his sickness, you know what I mean, at some point in time, but wasn't anticipating it so soon, you know what I mean, but it was a great and a good one for the pan fraternity. We lost a good soldier and Frontclair also. But nevertheless, we have good soldiers in control like Darren and you know what I mean, and by extension the committee, you know. So as you can look around, if the cameraman show you, there's a lot of progress going on down here. So, you know, Frontclair forever and ever.
As a result of your involvement in PAN and by extension Frontclair,
Say that again,
tell me
sir?
about your travels. What countries and what ships you've been on?
Well, since
You want me to move on?
1991, I've been traveling, you know, me and Slave from
Interviewing
5
people.
continents,
You next.
the world, you know what I mean? Japan to Hong Kong to Australia to
Your promotion,
Europe, you know, Russia, you know,
You want me to move there?
everywhere. All the Caribbean islands, you know. I had a good time, a good bout, and still
See, I want somebody to talk about
going, you
all
know what I
of
mean?
these things there. And that's really
I
funny.
enjoy traveling a lot, and you know what I
I
mean,
tell
playing
somebody now.
music for the world.
Instruct them now. Keep talking.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have to say.
night, San Fernando. My name is Nicky Dean. I'm a foundation member of Skipper Bunch, and I've known Funky and Wire since 1971. And Funky has always been the pride of San Fernando because of Milton Wire Austin. Mr. Austin was San Fernando, and it is indeed a great loss. I've been following this band from 1971, their inception in Panama. All through the years when Wooden and Wire did all the arrangements. Till 1984 was their last arrangement with Lucy. And they were always a force to be reckoned with. Just like all the other South bands, Triple Cavaliers, that, you know, some people were scared when they heard these bands coming up. And Funky was the first funk band you could say in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yep.
And we have tunes like Picky Bird, Caterpillar, and you can go on and on. They have
Funk on Steel.
They have won many zonal Panamas, came second in town, and many band competitions, all because of the greatness of Milton Wire Austin. And I was not a personal friend of his, but we were personal where Pan is concerned. He was a Pan Jambi, and that's it all. And it's so sad that San Fernando has lost a very good son of the soil. Thank you and good night.
Hey, go ahead.
Good night. This is Councillor Riyad Hussein from the electoral district of Lesotho, EC Peru. I am here tonight from Clifton, fondly called the Hole, for one of our great legends that has gone before us now is the Milton Wire Austin. It's a great loss for the steel band fraternity. So I would hope and pray that this opportunity that arrives here tonight, that others pick up, follow suit, and ensures that the band remain as one of the, as some of the top ranking bands we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Because Funky, everybody would know, this is a trouble band. They underestimated. So you bring them, you leave them in South, you stand them in North, you don't know what is the outcome of the results. Because they might fully reach to the top, and this is what the North bands fear. So we had Milton Wire Austin, as you say Wire. He used to really control the sixth bass. He used to play the sixth bass because I was a member of the band as well. So we had some good days here at Funky Panyard. And he had done extremely well to take the band from where it was and where it is today. And we have some younger ones, I mean, who has gone before us. We have Pro, which you probably know as Pro, as well as Darren Shepherd, who is now took over the leadership of the band, as well as Wendell. So I'm here tonight just to be here with the fellas, with the guys down here in the hole at Funky, and to be part of the reminiscence of Mr. Milton Wire Austin. And thank you so much. Have a good night. I wasn't too long, right?
Introduce yourself first.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Harry Wells. I am probably one of the oldest living I was here before. My name was
Thank you.
Like that?
You want to hear it back? All right.
Wait.
So what do you mean by
Just want to announce that we have a banner on the wall over on the same side in the south space. Frame that banner and place it feel free to go across and sign. Officially, we will start proceeding.
I want to say something. Reflection. Step back. Introduce yourself and then give some reflections on that. Go ahead. Identify yourself.
I joined the band in 1987. I ran from great inspiration to me. Emotional time right now, so I ain't gonna say much.
My middle name is Trouble. Identify yourself and give me some reflections on wire.
Just here to pay tribute to a great man, Milton extraordinary man. Has been instrumental in my brother's life. Giving him the first chance to become an iconic arranger. My interactions with Wire has been limited, but his name has resounded throughout our household most of my life, especially on the carnival season. And the contributions he has made to Saturn and to the fan fraternity is phenomenal. We are here to recognize him. And tonight I come representing Professor Philip Foundation to pay tribute to this great man and to acknowledge his seats of his contributions to society.
Thank you.
Hollis.
Oi. You talk already? Come now, boy. Come on, take something.
But are willing to pay tribute in performance tonight. We're asking you to bring your performance tracks to the DJ.
I'm gonna sign our next time. What's that? You're coming for a couple of morning outside it. Sorry, Dad, I missed you. We'll go back over to come to your side.
Come and say something now. Come and say a few words Come and say something now. Oh, no. You sign? Go and sign now. You coming to say something? Oh no. You sign? Sign on behalf of Hatters. Identify yourself first, right?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Curtis Marcel. Some may know me as Sleepy. Alright, I've been a member, joined Fontaine's 1985. Alright, transited from the senior sec to the student official. My experience on Wire the first time was when we were rehearsing for the School Steel Band Music Festival. And he came up to me and he said, so you're holding this stick? I guess I didn't say that. Probably fair, you know, because he talks, trumpet, and speaks a bit, a lot of convincing. Anyway, from that, came into Fontclair and came into under in his section, which is 6 years. And he was the section leader. And what I can say, our section stand out due to the quality of players, skilled in play. And I will always say this, and I'll say it again, Fontclair has one of the best set of skilled bass players in the steel orchestra that I know of. Alright? And a lot of them would have gone beyond Fontclair to travel overseas and do all that stuff. Alright? And some of them are still doing it out there. Myself, I as a student, I presented Senior Comprehensive. The interviewer, Mr. Hollis, Clifton, was my form teacher. And to talk more about Wire was a stern disciplinarian. I remember when we came to the panel to rehearse, we weren't allowed to drink any alcohol, so those times why I would have come. We would have had beer something for the adults, but for us, maybe like 15, 16, milk, stay fresh milk. And then, but I learned a lot from him in terms of skilled play. And so, forgive me a bit emotional. A lot of the music that he would have arranged, I can still play it. So sometime during the night, we were able to get behind the 6 bass. I was asked already, and I'll just do something in tribute to one. That's it.
You remember you composed a tune in Pleasantville? Tell me about
yes, that was with Roger Charles called Rain Dance. Rain Dance, we did that in Pleasantville Senior Sec. And as in speaking about composition, I had also composed a song for Wire last year. He was able to hear it, right? And I had just shelved it. And last night I started to go through the remixing stage and you'll hear it soon. It's called Meet Me Down at the Paddy. That was one of his favorite statements. Right, so you head soon. Composed by Curtis Mason. That's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for more entertainment on Hollis Clifton's YouTube and Facebook page. Thank you.
Before you go, Curtis, have you been playing on ships or anything like that? Could you tell me about that?
Alright, I mean, yes, I perform on cruise ships as a musician. As a musician and also with another company in cruise staff, right? I also became the first band player to become a musical director for an entire ship's music staff. Right? So it's a very proud moment in my life, because I was always serious about management of music and musicians and doing show band, which was different, right? Because I also played electric bass, right? Electric bass, percussion, and drums. So in that capacity, I was able to get that promotion and fulfill that role for a bit. Other than that, I did a lot of other stuff. Some stuff I can't discuss on camera because it's government, right? But I met a lot of people. I also introduced steel band playing for passengers on Holland America, right? Back in 2010. I have personally trained close to about 22,000 guests up to 2017. So I've done a lot out there. It will take a whole day for me to sit down at this store. But again, I just want to say happy holidays to each and every one of you and to the entire ex-pupils of Pleasantville Senior Comprehensive School. Roger Charles, Ian Beckles out there, Redwood, Richardson, Brent Richardson, Masana, Manister, Melanie Manister, and many more. Covid Filbert. Thank you guys. We couldn't have done it without him. And Wire, thank you very much for accommodating us at Fontclair's team. It couldn't happen without you as a band leader and instilling that discipline for many of us. Thanks.
Okay, you talked about an electric bass.
Yeah.
Could you share that for those who don't know anything about it?
Electric bass guitar. Right? I started playing that 92. I don't really come out much, to do it, but that's what mostly when I do my stuff at home to work with my music. I use the electric bass, or if I don't have it with me, 6 bass band, I will do it from that. The bass is my favorite instrument of all. 6 bass band. And I'm like one of the few people that in the early times that started to read music fluently on the 6 bass band. So, but again, with the COVID restrictions and so on, it's kind of hard and frustrating that you can't come out to go to the pavilion to rehearse. Some bands have the space requirements and so on, like here, hardcore face to pavilion.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen.
So we're going to turn over to the entertainment. Thanks.
We have some people that are going to give their contribution musically.
Thank you, sir.
To the late, great
Sleepy Marcel.
Milton Whitehouse.
That you continue to bless us and keep us in your precious name. Amen. Amen. We're now going to call. Okay, we're going to call on Mr. Dean Constance to say a few words on behalf of Mr. Philip Maurice.
Good night, everyone.
Good evening.
Please continue to bow your heads in prayer. This prayer was sent by Philip Morris. And we pray. As Christians, we are asked to pray. Loving and merciful God, we entrust our brother Milton Y. Austin to your mercy. You loved him greatly in his life. Now that he is freed from all its cares, welcome him into paradise now, where there will be no more sorrow, no more weeping or pain, but only peace and joy with Jesus, your Son, the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Constance. We now call on Mr. Sherwin Cooper, who will say a few words and then bless us with his talent.
Pleasant good evening, everyone. And everyone knows I'm Sherwin Cooper, a former member of Frontline. I must say, it is saddened that it's only basically around this time we meet, and I think we need to fix that. Nevertheless, Milton Austin White was my manager as a member here. He was the first person that got me into a job, which is Carib, for those who would know that we worked at that brewery. We were privy, members of that stateside at that time was privy to get employment. Young guys at the age of 17, between 17, I think China was the oldest, or Maurice was the oldest. Nevertheless,
18, 19.
Yeah, a young group of guys coming out of Pleasantville Senior Sec into Frontline, and we were privy to get employment through wire at Carib. At that time, they would say I was the luckiest out of all. I know I was given the opportunity to join the band on the state side, that is, and travel with the band within probably 3 months. So they say I was the luckiest of all. Nevertheless, despite the, how to put this? Despite the ups and downs and the disagreements we would have with him, I am proud to stand here today and say that I have never disrespected him. Even when he should have been disrespected, I am proud to stand here and say today, I, Sherwin Cooper, have never disrespected him. Added to that, I am proud to say that when I started my own little entertainment business, I was able to come and give gratitude to him in 2008 when I started branding some stuff. And I said that to say this: we must not wait until someone passes to show gratitude. I think that is the problem in the country, by extension the world. I think that while somebody is here, regardless of how small it is, I think we need to start to show that gratitude. I know for sure that Darren has done it over the years with these previous stateside, the stateside before. I have seen it. That was at Monipur, and that's a good thing. And I think that needs to continue, because people need to enjoy what to give them. Coming now to give somebody something, they can't enjoy it, they don't go on. So I just want to make sure that just sending out some advice. There are some members, senior members who I meet, and I think that appreciation should be given to them from now going forward. And I also hope that after tonight, we all can start to meet, put aside our differences, and let us start to meet and see if we can get back the unity that we had then. Yes, we have differences, and I think we are all mature enough to put aside our differences in the favor of the name Fontclair. Thank you. So the song I'm going to play is called Falling in Love with Jesus. Hope you enjoy.
like to acknowledge the presence of His Worship the Mayor of San Fernando, Mr. Junior Regrello. We acknowledge your presence and thank you for being a part of this celebration of the life of Mr. Milton Y. Austin. We now call on Arita Austin, the niece of Mr. Milton Y. Austin, to say a few words on behalf of the Austin family.
Good night, everyone. On behalf of the Austin family, I would like to thank the Managing Director of NLCB, Fonclair, the members of NLCB Fonclair, the committee members, to everyone that played a major role in the time that he was ailing, up to the time that he died and still going. I wish to thank each and every one of you very much. Thank you.
Could we ask the Mayor of San Fernando to say a few words?
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, members of the Austin family, members of the Fonclair family and supporters. It's very sad that we are here again once more to acknowledge and celebrate the passing of another iconic figure, and both figures are closely associated with the Fonclair Steel Orchestra. Last Sunday, when I got the call, I went to Pleasantville. And I looked at Milton lying on the bed. It struck me, what life is about and how alone he looked, which is obvious because he's passed, and what life is about, and the fact that we take so much for granted, and the love that we will demonstrate in the next couple of days, next couple of hours, as we acknowledge his contribution in his passing. And do we take the time to show that while our loved ones are alive, and how much we appreciate them. And some words that he shared with me a few months ago about leadership and the Pan fraternity, and how the words he used to describe the Pan fraternity as an unforgiving fraternity in the way they treat their own. The San Fernando City Corporation, when I attended Sprangalam's funeral, and I listened to the words expressed by people who attended the funeral, it occurred to me that the arts is a critical fraternity and made a significant contribution to society and how we shape your city and the place where you live. And I think it's there I got the idea to dedicate the following year, which is from the 18th of November 2020 to 2021, the Year of the Arts. And out of that recognition, I came up with a list of persons that we should really acknowledge. I'm very happy that we were able to acknowledge Milton during that period while he was alive. And I remember calling him and saying, look, Milton, I'll be doing so. And he said he cannot come because he cannot walk. And we actually moved the function from one church to another church to accommodate him. And we were hoping that he would be able to make it because of his legs. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, and Mrs. Austin attended the function and received the citation and the humiliation on his behalf. But it brings us back to the reality of two things, life and death. And the nexus between both is appreciation. And we intend to do a lot of things to within the year to show appreciation for the arts. One of them is that we have commissioned Mr. Deward Phillip to record the role of Pan, Calypso, and Mass in the city of San Fernando, because that is not recorded. The archives is not there. And Milton has gone and probably taken a lot of history with him. The history with Fontclair, its origin, how it started, where it started. One of the things I remember many years ago was a follow that he and I had. I don't know if you had the old heads here, but I'm talking about 1968 panorama, when Fontclair did not qualify for the finals. And Milton and a group of others came to Skinner Park and protested. And I think the phrase that had on the placard was, Fontclair said, pay your way and your D, because he couldn't make it to the finals. The Juve morning, Fontclair came to the bomb competition and won the bomb competition with an unfinished tune. And that upset the Pan fraternity, and it caused a whole other rivalry. But the fact that the piece of tune was good enough to win. I don't know if anybody here remember that story? Anybody remember that story? That was 1968. And I remember Rafi carrying on this kind of placard. I think the coordinator of the carnival was Boxhead. You were there? Rekka. Somebody here remember that incident. But there's so much history with Milton would have had. And these things are not recorded. This is why we have embarked on this program, and Deward Phillip already started collecting information. I want to make a special plea to some of the old heads who hear and who may have information, data, whatever it is, and clippings, to bring it forward, because finally we're going to be able to have this. And by the end of the waterfront project, there will be a museum, and there will be a space made available for the arts. So your history, your record will be there on display. I'm looking at audiovisual, I'll be going to the digital world and what can be done. So I think there's a lot that we can do still, and that Milton made this contribution, but it left a solid foundation. And from what I'm seeing here, the progress is a work in progress and it's happening. And I think we all of us here owe him a debt of gratitude for his contribution, his commitment to the art form. So let us celebrate a life that was well lived and worked, and brought a lot for the community of Lesotho East, of this areas, and of course the Pan fraternity. So may he find eternal rest and rise in the glory of heaven. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Worship. We now call on Derek Shiny Ayum, who will come center stage, gracious with his rendition. You're going to be singing, sir? You're going to sing tonight, sir?
I'm a singer. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to send my condolences, deepest condolences from my family to the Austin family, by extension, the Fontclair family. Management and staff, committee members, band members, past and present, international and local. It's a sad time that we all have to deal with. Woke up the other morning to the kind of really sad news, the passing of Milton Y. Austin. After just having a normal conversation with him on a weekly basis, he would call me, and I would call him, and we would exchange a lot of fun on the WhatsApp, and he would always call me video calls. The last one he sent to me was him in the hospital in his pajamas, showing me stuff on the ground, what they want to use, and anyway. But just as Sherwin say, I came in the band in 1989 after starting off my learning to play steel band. I started off as an African drummer, as a young fella, at age 6 with the Wax Katuma drummers, and then moved on, graduated on to the steel pan. Started off in a little pan round the neck named Shades and Steel in Marabella. Went to Renegades and then came here in 89. Fire down below. and I wasn't stopping from there. However, we got a break again in 91, went on tour with the band, came back, continued performing and playing with the band on the state side. My band was a tenor, yeah, and tell you, that crew was a badass crew. And you know, I know a lot of them, those guys out there would have liked to be here all now, and I kind of represent and speak on behalf of them, you know, because we had a little chat, and you know, and they say they send their sentiments to the Fontclair members and family. But I also continue along with my career, performing all over the world with different groups, and basically ended up on cruise ship for the past 30 years doing ships. And with this COVID now, since 2019, I'm stuck in Trinidad. No work, but still loving my instrument, still loving the band, you know, seen a lot of progress, and I have to commend the committee, as I told Darren last night. I like the progress that I'm seeing down here for many reasons. You know, we all walk away from the band, you know, but, you know, God is good, and, you know, we had to let bygones be bygones, and we put things behind, and, you know, we always had to come back in the flock and join again in unity, as Sherwin says. So, Mr. Y. Austin, for him, pray that God, you know, take him into the almighty heavens, you know what I mean, and that we all try to be strong for one another in these trying times also. So, brothers and sisters, without further ado, I want to try and render this one. We'll keep it in church for the moment. So this one is Waymaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayu. Your check is in the mail. We don't have your address, so if you don't get the check, don't blame management, please. We're now going to open the floor to anyone out there, past members, well-wishers, who would like to say a few words. We have one gentleman coming to your name, sir? Okay, we have a gentleman from Solo Harmonites, all the way from the east. Sandy Grandi. Well, I know. Wow, this gentleman came all the way from Sandy Grandi through the rain, the snow. I mean, it was trouble getting here, but it took 2 days, but he's here. So I now invite Mr. Bumper to say a few words.
Good night, everybody. Through this COVID, I feel that it didn't have no big crowd, but my friend Darren invited me here. So in all this traffic I came, and my wife would have been here. But I like what I see here. Darren made me, out of 10, he got 10. Because everything was good. I see there, I see over there, and he's my friend. But what I want to say is this. I know why since in Trinidad Maestro, when he had the band here, with Nolan Tate and these fellas, and then I left and went to Point Fountain, then come to Solo. So we used to send players here, and them used to come up, and we also. And every block owner invite us. We used to play by Lions Club there, and all about. And the good thing about it, when which was my name was here, which you know, they came and helped us, and we win the regional title for the Modacom. And that give you a boost. So what I will say, I do hope his family, with all this grief and all this thing, China, and my boy played solo too. And well, Mr. Wentworth, in the back. Wentworth! What Wentworth? I mean, Shepherd, Mr. Shepherd. I give thanks to him because, and I'll be playing with him next year because solo come on, you know. So he's my good friend, and as I say, I wish the family well. And my son and everybody has played here. If I was about crew, I send them here. So which means that I was good friend, and I do hope that he rests in peace. In God's name, I thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please note that there will be auditions to make the band at the next panorama. You just can't walk in here and pick a spot. So we just let you know you need to come on audition. No. It has no friend in this. And then we have an age policy. So we'll look into that as well. We're going to ask anyone else out there who would like to come and say a few words, any memories of Mr. Austin. Okay, we're going to call Mr. Farrell, who did that great interview. Mr. Farrell, since I was a little boy.
That's my name.
Let's welcome Mr. Anthony Farrell to the mic.
Good night, everyone. I ain't no big talker, eh? But what I could tell all you about Milton Wire Austin. I know Wire since I was a little fella, playing at Trinidad Maestros. I used to be under the plum tree, and the pump city tree was Steve Lawrence thing when he tuned in his band. And Wire playing a bass. I went to Cavaliers But why St. Carol is the music down here, boy? I said, nah, I come in front of it. And I came here in 1972. And I'm here still. I made the stateside in 72, on Saturday morning, right under the lamppost, where I teach me about 15 songs to play the Lions Unite. Them days are young, my brain sharp. The tonight now. But what I want to tell you about Milton, when it comes to Fonclair, why I was tough. Why I didn't use to make Skylark with Fonclair. I went to many meetings in town with Wire in the 80s. And when Wire stand up to talk, they used to say, tall man, talk, boy, talk. Because let me tell you something. They used to tell Southman, shut up there. Taki and Zephyrin and them couldn't talk in tongue. Wire is the man who used to talk in tongue. But under that toughness, Wire was a humble fella. And you will know how humble Wire is? Let something happen to one of the members in the band, and then you will know the kind of man Milton Austin was. When my son died in 2010, every minute Wire calling me. Farrell, what happened? The body ain't come yet? Farrell, what you doing? Wire was a father. He was a brother. Of course, he was a husband. He was a friend to many people, and plenty panmen in San Fernando who passed through this band. I could tell you why I helped everyone. I'll give you a little joke. In 1983, I get a house in Cuba. I get a letter. I meet Wire by Carol's Club this Saturday night. I say, why I read this? He says, so what do you want me to do about that? I say, why I have to put it on Monday morning? Me have no money, you know. He said, go downstairs and bring me a briefcase for me. He said, how much you want? I said, about $2,000 would do. Why I open the briefcase and I made $2,000? I went to town and paid for my house. This is what I'm telling you, this is no joke. This is how Milton Wire Austin was. We had to go Panorama. A man get locked up. I saw him there, so I went to call his name. Willie Matthias. Why I went down in the station and tell them, he said, hey, this man had to play Panorama tonight, you know. BC Wire coming back in the panyard with Willie, yes? This is how Milton Wire Austin was. And I could tell all of this, I talked to Wire last week. Because he even asked me for our next friend phone number. And I tell him I can't text so good, but my son sent it for him. And he made me laugh while he was talking because he said, Farrell, but you know you're old. Something we talk about, he told me, but you're an old man too, Farrell. I said, okay, Wire, you young. God rest his soul. He going to prepare a place for us. I only hope that when I go up there, he gives me a bass to play this time, because all the years I never play a bass in the band. So, to the family and all Fonclair members, past and present, let me tell you something. Fonclair is a family band. Whether you play here 40 years ago and you come up, is a member of Fonclair. We are a family band. To all, accept my condolences. And to Mrs. Austin, all the best to you, and stay strong. Thank you.
Well, boy, it's a good thing you need to talk so long, because you might be here for the funeral tomorrow. But thank you very much, Mr. Farrell. I must say, well said. You lent us a soft side of Mr. Austin that plenty people didn't know. And we thank you for that. We ask anyone else who would like to come up and say a few words, and give a gentleman, don't rush, a little rush. Gentleman is coming to before you are, sir. We have another fun player before us, Mr. Keith Thorne from Thorne Street. Okay. Welcome, Mr. Thorne.
Good night, everyone. I want to say condolences to the Austin family and all the members of Front there, wherever part of the world you are. Today I got a call from my father. My father and Wire were classmates. And my father was 80 this year, and Wire was 79. So he cried with me, telling me, Wire dead. And he called me and told me that he had to find out from another person. So I started to laugh. So I said, okay, you and your classmate, they still used to communicate, even after all they went government school together. But Milton was still a strong man of pan, and as Farrell said, he stand up for pan, especially when it comes to San Fernando. It had many, over the years, many instances. And tonight, if all the people that were nurtured and developed, here should have been full tonight, because he always give the young persons that opportunity to come in the band and develop themselves. And for some reason, they never stay, but they move on. And again, as Farrell said, he may fall out with them today, but you will see them come again, and he will welcome them. That is the man, Milton Wire Austin. And I always said, if one for his strength, this one that be still standing today. Fun player, because of whatever strengths and weaknesses Wire had. And a good leader always pass the ball. And I love to see he passed the ball, and we should recognize that he did his part, and he moved on. And that is the sign of a good leader. Whether we liked him or not, he did his part, and he stood up for South Pan. He was the last strong man of Pan out of the area, the Rural Charles, the Taki, the Novel Jews, Bobby Mohammed. Wire was the main stalwart for the South Pan men, and we must make sure that he get a good send-off. He was the strong man for South Pan men. And Farrell will remember in 1976, what happened in 1976? Okay. Bumper remind me of that. You understand? And that, for the young players who don't know about that. No. Right. And for the young players, Desperados went in the savannah of the whole nation, Alavantil. And Fontaine come up, and they want to take out people who don't have on a t-shirt. And Wire said none of that. Again, he was a fearless leader. He break down the gate, and the whole of San Fernando who come, and people from town who support Fontaine went in. Unfortunately, they disqualified him But that didn't break his spirit. You understand? He wasn't the kind of person that he could break his spirit easily. Every time things happen, and he had a saying, players will come and players will go. Now, as a young man, I used to stand up and watch him and I said, what do you mean by that? And you will see, he will develop an next team and he move on. So tonight I want to say, hats off to Wire. I remember when in 2010 or 11, I bring my son and I tell him, I say, Wire, I bring a player for you. And he took my son and he carried him in the van and he welcomed him as my son. And my son played in the band until well. But I want to say, thank God for the life of Wire, and I ask God to bless him wherever he is. And he was a shining light within the South area. And I remember one of his interviews, so he always believed that he must develop his own arrangers in the band. And out of that came a lot of guys. We have a lot of arrangers thanks to Wire. Right? And if all those forces would honor that opportunity Wire give them to develop the talent, here will overflow. So I want to say good night and God bless Wire.
Thank you, Mr. Thorne. Again, another perspective on Mr. Austin's life and endeavors. We now call on Mr. John Looney, who will sing a song for us. Mr. Looney? He lifts me up. Now if you know you're coming here, and you're not going to lift us up. Alright.
Thank you. Pleasant good evening, everyone. Once again, it's nice to be here, seeing so many familiar faces, unfortunately due to the circumstance, but we give God all the praise and thanks for everything and the life that He, because as we always say, we're here on borrowed time. So we give God the thanks and praise for the time that Wire was on loan to us. Because we're all here, and as Lisa mentioned, at some point in time, our number has to be called, and we all have to go. But everybody gave accolades to the many things that Wire has done. And I mean, I came in to Fontclair in the end of '97. And I can attest to so many things that Wire have done. As we say, there's, things, everybody have their give, their takes on things you will agree, disagree. But no one can say about, not talk about the generosity of Wire. There's so many things Wire did to help so many of the young people in this band, especially during the times that I was here and I first started off as well. So there are many things we need to give him his thanks for, that he's done for each and every one of us. All of us can attest at some point in time, not only band-wise, but personally, that he reached out to us and helped out on so many different things. So it's an absolute pleasure for us all to be here, to give him his thanks. As you say, we need to start doing these things while people are still around and not wait till now to actually say thank you. So I'm going to do this song, You Raise Me Up. Enjoy.
down and oh my soul.
so weary. When troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong and I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Rest in peace, Lord.
Thank you very much, Mr. Looney. Well done. One announcement, ladies and so we go up. No, the pan. Let me stay focused. Stay focused. Right, so I will rephrase that. Because you played your instrument well and the first round will allow you the opportunity to play another song. That's much better, sir? Yeah. Mr. Cooper again. Thank you. We'll now call on Managing Director / Musical Director /
You strong man at the band. When I'm talking, go back the band.
Oh, alright. We'll now ask Mr. Shepherd to say a few words.
Good night, everyone. Let me say, regardless of the occasion, it's always a pleasure to welcome past and present members to the Spaniard, in particular in this new dispensation of Fontaine's Spaniard. Is a sense of pride to be able to welcome everyone. And indeed, it would have been a sacrifice for you all to be here, given what's happening in the world. As well as this is Christmas time. So I'm happy for everyone that did brave the pandemic and the Christmas painting and the black cake soaking and all that goes along with this particular time of the year. Milton, Austin and Fontclair was linked and will always be linked in a similar way that Ken, Professor Fillmore, regardless of where he went to prior and after, will always be linked to Fontclair. It's an integral part of the band's history, and we pray that they both rest in eternal peace. Let me just, in particular, thank the two gentlemen that played, and they would have mentioned how much players would have passed through Fontclair, and the inclinations of unity is a very important thing. And it is indeed sad, and it happens in all families, that in time of grief, people tend to come together and then after they go about their own business. But I'll tell you something, especially the few years I spent in Trinbago, and observe how tongue people and tongue steel bands function. It's a whole different culture. And until we in the Southland recognize that and decide that we're going to do what the champion bands do and do it better, we will always also run. I am not the most liked person in the steel band community, and that's because I tend to speak my mind. However, after I speak my mind, I'm good. If you ain't good, well, I hope that they'll be good sooner than later. But we need to deal with truth, and we need to deal with reality. A lot of people pass through the band, a lot of talent. But it's not enough to talk unity, we must demonstrate unity. So you can't talk unity, and I want to be very clear that I'm not pinpointing any particular person. I'm putting it in the reference of Port of Spain bands. If Anis Hadid comes to Trinidad and he's not arranging for a steel band, he's by phase 2. Earl Brooks is phase 2. Michelle Hawkins Watts is phase 2. Dougie Redor is phase 2. Barry Howard is phase 2. They're not playing in the band, but it's phase 2. And until we start to recognize who we are, whether we in or out, we will always be weaker than that. So, I want to make it clear that we, from a management perspective, welcome all. As long as they come in with positive vibes, we welcome all the talent, past, present, and future. It was mentioned that wire always find a new crop. Well, Fontclair have a plantation now. Because our interactions with the schools in and around San Fernando and the re-establishment of that link with Pleasantville Secondary has borne fruit in this panorama. We had 17 young people from Pleasantville Secondary performing with the band for the panorama season after re-establishing our program for 4 months. And after the principal would have acknowledged those players, some of whom were playing for the first time and ended up playing in front of the band. Not in front of a rack, in front of a stand. The entire school wanted to play back. And during any given week prior to this COVID pandemic, Fontclair would have seen 452 children per week in 7 schools and in our junior program right here in Panya. So we have been doing the work to ensure that when we say Fontclair forever, it is truly Fontclair forever. And the only way to do that is by continuous development of the next generation of players. And let me make it clear, I have no intention of growing old, arranging, or running any steel band. At some point, I want my life back. So we have already started to identify particular talents that we could groom and develop to be the next leadership of Fontclair. So we already started succession planning. And to all the members of the current board and management team, in 1 year, we have done a phenomenal job to turn the band around. And let me say that when we first started discussions about me coming back and establishing a different way of running the band, we had a 3-year developmental plan. And only September 11th, 2019 was the band officially handed over. I'm talking about on pen and paper. The Fontclair that used to exist don't exist anymore in the books of Trinidad and Tobago. Fontclair is now an NGO, non-governmental organization, that solely owns a limited liability company named Fontclair Enterprises Limited. Fontclair Enterprises Limited is the entity that will be running that Lotto Center and gift shop over in the stateside practice area. Pretty soon, there will be an establishment where you could come and refresh yourselves in that area over there. And the proposed name for it is The Hole. Because everybody knows the name for down in this area is The Hole. Apart from that, we have been working on some contracts of a government nature so that we can employ the members of the community and the members of the band. We intend to continue the developmental works in the Panyard. This particular panorama area, we have some serious issues where drainage is concerned. We intend to address that very soon. As well as, for the first time, we're going to put some washrooms over on this side so the panorama players could use the facilities over here and not be running across the road all the time. So the more we develop the infrastructure, is the more pride the players and the community will have in our surroundings, and we want to charge everybody who is involved with Fontclair. When it comes, you interact, but we maintain a clean scene and we cherish our surroundings. We also have serious plans to develop our stock of instruments. So for the first time in history, Fontclair is going to have a range of quadraphonics. I've been clamoring for that for my first year arranging. And that is being put in place. And the list of players to play these 8 bands is already about 80. Everybody wants to play quadra. So, with that, it will add another dimension to Fontclair's song. Now, Fontclair's music has developed, but our band, in terms of its instrumentation for orchestration, has not developed over the years. We go to Panorama in Port of Spain, and we have 6 cellos and 7 cellos. Them fellas are 14 and 14. And that is the reality we deal with. But this management team has taken up the task to correct that, and it will be corrected with the support of our sponsors and our fundraising efforts. We will get there, and we would like to invite everybody to continue supporting Fontclair. One of the things that we lack in this band is, you look at those bands from Port of Spain, and I tell you I studied them for 3 years, right? As far as they're concerned, pan is gays. And the rest of the world, we just play pan, we just play. The pan belongs to them. Now, around those bands, the senior members, whether they're playing or not, is involved in the processes, in particular where practice is concerned. So you have young players, but you have seasoned veterans around them, guiding them, helping where discipline is concerned. You know, giving advice. And we have developed a culture where one man is the key man, and what he says goes. The world has changed, and everybody has an input. As long as it's being done respectfully, we can agree to disagree, but the greater good of the organization must always be paramount. So at the end of the day, let me say to all the members, past and present, you are welcome in Fontclair in this new dispensation. However, let's do everything that we do with love, that we do it with unity, and with God's blessings and guidance. This band will truly be Fontclair forever. A lot of folks didn't understand the use of that term. But if you go on social media now, anybody commenting about Fontclair says Fontclair forever. That means this institution will live on and on and on. And we have to put the framework in place to ensure that that happens. I want to come here 12 years from now and sit down and I don't drink alcohol, so I can drink sip 2 water and listen to the band without any stress. Because that framework has been put in place, and we're going to move very aggressive to acquire every single vacant piece of property on this street. Every piece, till they are forced to call this Fontclair Street. The city got to change the name because we own everything. And that is how the bands in Port State operate. If you look around All Stars own everything in its immediate vicinity. They have a credit union, they have an old boys association. So the bench is very deep. So you're not dependent on one group of individuals. So at present, Fontclair has its band, Panorama Band, which for the first time this year in many years, it probably didn't look that way because a lot of people came late in the season. But we had 153 players registered the last week of Panorama. Until I had to tell G, no more, don't bring no more, no. That's where we got to. And imagine when we started turning over these young players. They could bring the competition to 200, we send 2 bands. That's where we at. We have Fontclair Gold and Steel, which developed out of a seniors class that I started. A lot of people were very skeptical. But those seniors fed Fontclair for the last week of Panorama. They put up their own money and they had their own roster. And every night 4 members of Fontclair Gold and Steel. But they didn't want to be called Fontclair Seniors. They said, now we Golden. They provided the band with meals for the entire last week of rehearsal. And interestingly enough, when I was in Mount Hope, Fontclair Gold and Steel has quite a few nurses. One of the nurses in that class attended to Wire in Mount Hope. Personally. So already that started to bear fruit as well. The junior band was carried to take part in Junior Panorama this year, but the Lord knows best. We will come out next year stronger. So once we develop the various facets of the band, we have a viable seniors chat that we want to convert formally into seniors Association. We want to revamp Fontclair's fan club. Very important. Fontclair has fans all over the world. As well, we have been having discussions to rekindle a community group in this area. The Fontclair Community Organization. And some people might say, Fontclair, but that is the band. No, Fontclair is this neighborhood. Fonrose and Clare Street is Fontclair. Very few bands would have adopted a name that represents the community as best as Fontclair does. And finally, I am very proud to say that the band has re-established its links with the community in a very strong and positive way. So you'll pass here in this Spaniard and you'll see kids playing small ball in the yard here. And everybody asking, why Sheppy, why not put the racks and them back inside here blocking the road? Because this space has become a safe space for the young people in the community to come and play football and to come and play cricket off the road. That establishment over there will now allow our community, members of our community, to pay their bills right here. They don't have to go down the road to do that. They can pay their bills right in the community. So we have a lot of things planned, not to just develop the band, but to develop the community. And with this particular team, the sky is the limit. We also have young people who come out of this community with serious educational backgrounds. One of them in particular has joined the management team, Ms. Abiola Watson. She was here earlier. This is a young lady that come out of this community who worked on Wall Street. Well, you understand what Wall Street means to the world? She worked in the business banking sector with Scotiabank and is now the finance manager for one of the largest construction companies in the Caribbean, Cosals. She's part of our management team handling finance. If you have that resources coming out of the community, you'll be foolish not to use it. There's another young lady, niece of Kenneth Arthur, young Miss Jackson, big radio personality, studied in England, have a master's degree in theatre.
Abiola.
And that is the kind of people we want to bring in. We have plans to do a 4-part television series on the history of Fontclair. So a lot of things is happening, and the more people we can bring on board, the faster we get to where we need to get to. But the sky is the limit for this band, and the sky is the limit for the community. And I'm telling all you from up front, I really want to be able to bring the band to a particular level with everybody's help and rock back and watch it grow. I have no intentions of being 79 trying to run no steel band. I want to see what my grandchildren and that kind of thing. Go bring them down here to learn to play pan, that kind of thing. We have to think about the future. And the future is the young people. Why I recognize that, that is why I can stand here. You probably recognize it a little bit late because he saw the resources as only players. But everybody could bring something to bear towards the development and the future of this great institution. There was a gentleman walking there named Hatim Lara. And Hatim famous words to me many times was, this is not a panorama band. This is an institution. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Lara. And that stick in my mind. Hence the reason we are trying to develop an institution. If you grew up in Fontclair, your children are in Fontclair. You ain't have somebody in Desperados who father playing and he's going to play in phase 2. Nothing will happen. So when I tell people, hey, that child, that's real, I serious. Because we had to think about the next generation. And it's beautiful to be able to experience parent and child playing in the same orchestra, going through the same grind and practice. And that's the next thing. We have to practice more, we have to practice harder. Then band in quarter speed, look really take that. Practice finish 5 o'clock, and the arranger say you want to change that piece of music 10 o'clock. You go on home, you beat, you pass. When you work and clock your car and you really find out for 10, and if you're not there for 10, you'll get dropped. That's the level of discipline we need to have. You can't practice till 12 when it starts 10:30. And then when you go up the road, you come down the road and say, well, it's thieving week. You thieving yourself. In order to win, we have to do what the winners doing and do it better. We never have a shortage of music in South. We never have a shortage of talent in South. We have that. Because the same players is going to put us in and excel. But that pride and that hunger that is necessary for South to take that title once again and dominate, we have to put in our work. And if we don't put in our work, we won't get the results. So the efforts in the band must match the efforts of the business development in the band. And trust me, we have some serious plans and it's going to happen. If this could happen in a year, imagine what could happen in the next 3, 4, 5 years. Fonte has had a Monday night band for the last 2 years. And a lot of people didn't understand how a steel band could have a Monday night band with our DJs because we recognize where the thing going and want to be trendsetters. So, with the capacity that we have, will have in players for the next couple of years, the Monday night band with the DJ truck could go down the road now. And our next band on our trailer, Mark Fonclair as well, could take part in all the competitions in Santa Fernanda and beat everybody. Because we're building human capital. And that is the most valuable thing. Human capital. So all is welcome. Don't be strangers. COVID will go. And this space, this street, this place, this community will be the hub of activity in San Fernando. Everybody have a good night and thanks for coming out. That's some refreshment inside. Little on the soft side, there are 1 or 2 beers and things. Please partake. There are some corn soup and some snack boxes. Don't leave nothing behind. And tomorrow, just to recap, Wire's funeral is 1 p.m. at St. Paul's Anglican. COVID regulations, of course. So the capacity of the church is only 120 persons. So a list will be provided, family members and close friends first, of course. However, he is carded, the body is carded to be here between 2:30 and 4:30 for a public viewing right here. And at 4:30 on the dot, the body will be heading to Belgroves for a private cremation. The link would be shared on Fonclair's Facebook page and the Facebook pages of members of the management team so that we could view the funeral and the cremation process. WAC 90.1 FM will be carrying the viewing live between 2:30 and 4:30 so people all around the world could view the proceedings. Again, thanks for coming. Everybody, please be safe. COVID is not a joke. Please be safe. Have a good night. Forever.
Anyhow, I want to say something. Why I have a vision, right? And
Honestly, I'm so proud that the guy handed over to the band to the most appropriate person, right? As everybody here on the band talking, wherever. But the next point I want to go to also, the next point, everybody talk about wire, right? But they may know that Mr. when a man jumping at 60 is the most smoothest, pronounced baseman I think, boy. I come here, that was my coachman. And he like about it, and he said, tell him, don't tell Rory no smoke and don't tell him no drink. I forget everything, right? Forget it. Music! Yeah. That man, but people forget that. That man was the smoothest champion baseman, right? That is the day. But I just say something. You see that fellow called Darren Shepherd? Champion also. And this man going to, here I tell you, 2022, I like to tell you, but I'm here. But I feel smooth like me because I follow what I plenty. You know what I'm saying? But that fella, here I say, 2022, what you better leave my space until I say anything, right? Pleasant night everyone, and God bless everybody.
Mr. Edward, when you have auditions, you will be placed on the list. Are you going to approach us with some sort of education on the band along those lines, or could we lock off for the evening? Okay, folks, it was nice having you all here. Get home safe, and tomorrow is another day. As Mr. Shepherd announced, the link will be shared on Facebook. Look out for it so you can see the streaming. We have the banner across under the shed there for you to sign. And again, thanks to our technical crew. Thanks to Mr. Hollis Clifton for his videography, and Mr. Reed, the captain, and all the other members of the executive. We would like to thank you all and have a good night. Okay, so we're asking kindly if you can get a little assistance in taking up the chairs to put them across, because we don't want anything to happen and we can't afford it right now.